The Rock Whisperer. Do you hear the earth talking to you?
This is video 4-4, and in this particular video we're going to talk about stars and a little bit about the universe. So the first thing we need to know is, what is a star? A star is a massive sphere of gas, and those gases are primarily hydrogen and helium, and they're held together by the gravitational attraction of the star. So because that ball of gas is spinning, it has a gravitational attraction and everything is held together. We should know that our star for our planet Earth is our sun. So the sun is a star. Our sun is just an average star in the HR diagram. The HR diagram, or Hertzsprung-Russell diagram, is found on page 15 in your reference table. So if you look at that at some point, you can find the sun, and it's in the middle of that main sequence, the big branch that's in the middle of the chart. Stars can live anywhere from about 10 million to about 10 billion years long, and that lifespan depends upon how the star forms and how big it is when it forms. The bigger the star, the quicker it burns through its fuel. So a really large star to start with might only live 10 million years. But a star that's smaller or more average, like our sun, can live to be about 10 billion years old. The initial mass of a star also determines how that star is going to end its life. Stars like our sun are going to eventually expand out and become red giants, and then they will explode and they'll form a planetary nebula. I know everyone thinks stars always go through a supernova and become a black hole. That's not the case. The majority of the stars do expand and explode, but very few become black holes, at least compared to what many people think. So the really big, massive stars can explode and have black holes, but many of them also explode and can also then produce neutron stars. Again, that depends on the initial mass of where the star. So when our sun eventually explodes, it's going to form that planetary nebula, as I spoke about. And that planetary nebula is where planets or maybe new stars are going to be formed. And it's going to just be a big disk, a ball of dust and gas. Stars run on nuclear fusion. So what happens is the stars are taking the hydrogen that is in there and they're trying to combine it with another hydrogen atom. That fusion, putting them together, creates energy. It also produces a form of helium. And now the hydrogen that we're putting together is not the ordinary hydrogen that we think about. There are two different forms of hydrogen that we're trying to combine. After we create helium, the star starts to burn up. After it burns up all the hydrogen, it starts to burn up or use up the helium, and it combines two different helium atoms to form carbon. And then as the star continues on, it can also start to create other elements that you can see in the chart that is in front of you. And we can see that after we produce carbon, and we get towards the center of it, we can eventually start producing iron and a lot heavier materials. Stars produce all the material that we have in our universe. So when a star explodes, we are producing many other elements that are on the periodic table. In our visible universe, scientists have calculated that's about 100 billion galaxies out there. It's a large number. And each one of those galaxies has about 100 billion stars in it. So we have a huge amount of stars that are in our universe. Many of these stars, we're realizing, have planets. And there's been some new estimates and calculations that have been done that says every star has approximately 2.5 planets around it. Now, when we look at our star, the sun, we realize there's 8 planets. So some others may have none whatsoever. So we're taking an average of everything that we've seen. And what scientists have done is they have looked at a particular spot in the sky and counted up numbers for that particular spot. And then they've used that to guesstimate how many there are for the entire sky. And one last fact that you need to know, our universe is approximately 13.6 billion years old. Our solar system is only 5-6 billion years old. So when we talk about our sun being able to live for about 10 billion years, our sun is only halfway through its life cycle at the present time. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to listen to the Earth.